Coming to you live from the Gateway Plaza on the plain of Ravnica. This is Tap Concede, and this is a very special 250th episode, as special as anything completely arbitrary can be. But we have to celebrate that, and not at all because they were just in town for the Ravnica Allegiance pre-release.
We were flown in specifically for episode 250, and thank you so much for that.
Yeah, exactly. Just rolling money here at LoadingReadyRun. Thank you, patrons. No, we have special guests here. And so introduce yourselves, go on down the line.
My name is Erin Campbell. I'm the co-host of the Magic Mike's podcast. I also do various things like the Super Leagues. I'm just about to start my third stint on the Vintage Super League, Community Super League, Community Cup, all that stuff.
I'm Shivam Bhatt. I'm from the Commander and podcast, and I'm just a filthy casual.
Oh, well, I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I think I know a lot about Magic cards, but I'm just a boring Spike who hates fun.
That backfired horrendously.
That worked out perfectly. I
With
don't know
that smooth transition into the beginning of the show.
Speaking of things that work out great, I want to say thank you so much to all of our patrons at patreon.com. Thank you so much. If it wasn't for your support, we couldn't do things like this podcast and feed our guests and everything like that. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And also to cardkingdom.com. It is a place where you can buy cards. They will ship them to you in a disturbingly and frankly suspiciously fast manner. And if you want to purchase singles from them or box product if you live in the United States, you can say, Loading Ready Run, send me button please, and you will get a button. Previous designs have included math is for blockers and Sego. So it's always a good magic phrase. But today, we are not here to talk about Card Kingdom and Commerce. We are here to crack packs because we have a crack-a-pack extravaganza here. And so we're going to be getting our very talented, very clever guests to help us evaluate them.
Marshall, you be okay with this?
I got a lot of experience with it, I
Well,
guess.
what better way to celebrate the 250th episode of one of the best casual podcasts in Magic than to crack a bunch of arbitrary packs and see what fun garbage is inside?
I think all of the packs here are like...
Actually, they look pretty good.
There's a lot of spice here.
I don't see any Russian Nemesis packs in there or
I think
Italian Cold Snap.
I think all of our packs are English right now. So here's how this works. We're going to roll this big 20-sided dice, and we'll count from one end to the other and figure out what we're going to crack.
Okay, I'm just rolling it down the table?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I'm
It's
a little...
okay.
That's a 19.
19.
All right.
It's a lot of
2,
counting.
4, 6, 8,
Ooh,
10,
nice blocks, too.
12, 14, 16, 18, 19. Erin, you have chosen Shadows over Innistrad.
Very appropriate if you know me. I love graveyard strategies and...
And that came to us from Ethan, who
Thank you,
gave
Ethan.
it to us at PAX East 2018.
Wow, am I just opening it up?
Yes.
Ripping it open, all
Crack it up,
right.
and then we'll pass it to me and we'll throw it up on the card reader.
All right, there you go.
All right. So, who remembers Shadows over Innistrad? Sort of, Press for Answers is our first card. Really?
That's your answers.
Ruthless.
Not a real card.
Good morning, card
Interesting.
reader.
I did like Investigate, though.
Yes, that is a real mechanic. and
Investigate is
we'll
one of
get
my
some-
favorite mechanics, actually, and it was
Have
a
you
really
ever ripped
fun
up
set.
cards on
No.
Crack-a-Pack episode? I did
No.
that on the podcast once. I just got angry at a card and I ripped it up. And
What card was it?
I don't remember.
It was like one of those just one mana, like, garbage
It was-
instance.
No, it was something that people thought was good that was bad, and I had to take a stand.
It's so boxy.
Didn't work out well for me.
So we're just going to keep going past
Yeah.
Press
Yeah,
for Answers,
yeah.
right? What about Dauntless Cathar?
That's a good card.
Oh, this is a good card, especially this format.
Solid common.
All right, so if you're just listening on the podcast version, I'm just going to read out the card really quick. Dauntless Cathar is a 3/2 for 2 and a white. That's fine. It's a human soldier. Humans are a relevant subtype, so this was sort of like good creature typing, I believe. And for 1 and a white, exile Dauntless Cathar from your graveyard. Put a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery.
That second part's very relevant to my interest. You know, I love bringing things back from the graveyard, and so you're getting that value out of it. You're getting the value just as a 3/2 creature, and then if something happens to it, or if you happen to mill, if you're doing any sort of self-milling strategy, you know, or someone makes you discard it,
Kind
you
of puts afterlife into
still get it back. Yeah.
And it was really good with the delirium mechanic from this
Yes.
set, too. It gave you a creature that would go away and do something later.
Yeah.
No!
We're not athletes, folks.
we play the cards, yo.
I'm an athlete.
Okay,
Give me
hold
that.
on.
Are you?
James,
Yeah.
very carefully throw it back.
You'll get it back when you can learn how to use it properly.
Okay. Throw it only to Marshall because he plays basketball
Yeah,
and
I
he can
guarantee
probably
a
catch
catch,
something.
yes.
It will bounce off my face if I try. So Dauntless Cathar, not bad.
Pretty
This is
good.
currently our pick.
Well, 2 cards in.
Yeah.
How about Moorland Drifter?
1 and a white 2/2 with Delirium. It gets flying, right?
Yeah.
I love Delirium. It ended up being surprisingly easy to turn on, if I remember correctly, which led to some problems in Standard. But again, as somebody who loves graveyards, I had a lot of fun. And also just trying to follow the deck building restrictions, trying to make sure that you had, enchantments or artifacts, things that would help you get Delirium a lot faster.
This card was medium.
Yeah,
fine.
I don't recall being excited to run it.
Not exciting.
The Moorland's a callback to Moorland Haunt, which is a very familiar way to get spirits from the original Innistrad block, and so it's a nice callback.
A good filler.
It's fine. What about Warped Landscape? I don't think I've ever run this
I
card.
like this card in Commander a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a tap 2 and sacrifice it to search your library for a basic land and put it onto the battlefield. And frankly, when you're playing Commander decks, especially in colors that don't normally get mono ramp, cards like this, Evolving Wilds, etc., are really good ways to just kind of do mono fixing. And it's actually kind of helpful. And plus, this one, unlike the others, actually taps for colorless, which is a pretty neat bonus.
This also had some story clues in it. Between investigate and everything else, the big draw of Shadows of Innistrad is what is causing the madness. What is making Avacyn lose her mind, and
Turns out
people
it was Matt
knew.
Lynch.
Huh? Yeah, I still believe, but you saw Nahiri, you saw the warping in the landscape, and people wondered what is causing that, trying to find sort of those Easter eggs to piece it all together.
Brick.
Not great and limited.
Not too much.
What about a Stromkirk Mentor? Erin, do you want to read this one out?
Yeah, so Stromkirk Mentor is 3 colorless and a black. It's a creature type vampire soldier, 4 power, 2 toughness. It says when Stromkirk Mentor enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on another target vampire you control. Stromkirk being another callback from the original Innistrad, the Stromkirk Noble, Stromkirk line. And if you're playing any sort of vampire deck, this is what you'd want to have in it.
I mean, I'm giving this guy an A+ playable for his abs and his revealing outfit.
Hello.
I do like the outfit. Card's medium.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's pretty bad.
Okay. Tormenting Voice. As an additional cost to cast it, discard a card, draw 2 cards, 1 and a red. We've all seen this card before. How is this in the format?
It actually didn't play as well as we thought. We thought with Delirium that this would be a good enabler for it, and that actually was true. You just didn't often have room in your deck for a card like Tormenting Voice, especially in its color. When it comes to red, you often look for like a blue-red spells type archetype, and that's where this type of card really excels, but that wasn't really much of a thing.
Madness was also in this set, and I think a lot of people were hoping to sort of pair this with Fiery Temper and kind of live the dream
That
that
was like
way.
living the
And you
dream. It
can.
never happened.
To be
Yeah.
fair, it's a thing
It's
you
a thing
can
in Modern
do.
now.
It's just not
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
feel
still like the Cathar here, but
interesting. All right, okay. Clip Wings.
sideboard.
I love that art, though. That Howard Lyons whole 4-piece set that he did
What's going on there?
with this angel in here. There's a whole story he tells over the course of a bunch of sets. It's fantastic.
Another one of
Does
those.
she live?
No.
No. Another one of those cards that left people kind of wondering what was going on. This is one of the first cards that we saw. We really didn't know just how bad things were on Innistrad, and seeing the angels be
This is
a
where I
target.
knew that Shadows over Innistrad was going to let me down terribly.
Oh.
And it ended up doing so.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, man. All the good. This is where Magic told us that being good kills you.
I mean,
always.
Only in Innistrad, all the time.
Innistrad's. I feel like Innistrad.
Cigar is still around. Folly is still around.
By the way, Clip Wings is 1 and a green to each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying sideboard. I feel like Innistrad taught us that most people from Innistrad are very resilient because their reaction to not
There we go.
oh my goodness, all of this creeping, warping madness, all the angels are attacking us, what's going on, was not to be like, oh no, panic. There's like, well, get my sharpest pitchfork. Fine. Right?
The pitchfork sharpening shop in the village was running at full tilt.
They're like, we're going to need some people who want to work on Sunday.
Yeah, we need contractors.
What about Rotten Heart Ghoul? Who wants to read this
Sure,
one?
3 and a black for a 2/4 Zombo, and when it dies, target player discards a card. This card ended up not being great either. These are all like this and the vampire that we saw are kind of. Sorry, did I move? There we go. Are kind of filler
Yeah.
You know, they're just like, whatever.
This isn't an exciting pack so far.
No,
but
it isn't. But we're not even to the uncommon.
Yeah, I mean,
we
there
are
was-
now into our uncommons.
Oh, I lied.
All right, Shivam, read this one.
Haunted Cloak. It's a 3-mana artifact equipment that says equip creature has vigilance, trample, and haste. And it's got the important equip cost of only 1, which is actually amazing.
Yeah, when you look at the equip cost, you get excited. The downside to Haunted Cloak,
There's no power toughness boost.
right, and that's a big deal, especially the power bump. That is really what you look for in equipment, is that it helps your creatures that couldn't win combat, and this does none of those things. This just makes an already pretty good creature better.
Yeah.
That's win more, though.
That's
Yeah,
win
it's
more. And that's
kinda-
not what you want.
And, like,
haste
in-
is nice for 1 mana, like you said.
Yeah, but when I was looking at this for other formats like Commander, the problem was, again, like, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste they're good, they're fine, but there's no Shroud, there's no Hexproof, there's no protecting your creature.
Yeah.
It doesn't really justify itself as a card.
Yeah, this is the type of card that manages to give us nothing that we actually really want,
For a discount.
and while still giving us quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a lot of stuff for what you get. It's just not really what you want.
That's fair. But is Skeleton Key what we want? Shivam.
Skeleton Key, 1 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Skulk. Skulk was a mechanic I really wanted to work. It says it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power than the creature itself. And when equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Equip cost of 2. So you could attack something, and you could, because it had Skulk, it would have some kind of like evasive ability, and it would let you loot. And that's actually pretty good. If you put it on a big enough creature, that would let you kind of basically be unblockable, because Skulk says I go underneath everything. And since this says you can't be blocked by creatures with greater power than it, it's not terrible, but
Yeah,
it's not
you were
great.
incentivized to put it on your smallest creature to try to get in and get the loot train rolling. Boy, same problem though as the prior card.
P&T.
It just doesn't affect combat, and it's really tough sell to use 2 cards to try to make 1 okay card. That is not a winning combination, at least in limited.
Yeah, and like the thing is to really like get this to go off, you're chipping in for what, 1 damage?
Right. And then you're like going off by looting and maybe
Okay.
getting delirium. It wasn't worth it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You just didn't get the card back at any point.
Yeah. Shivam was a good commander.
No, this was
Because you
not.
want to make big stuff.
Yeah,
in
you
Commander,
like.
right?
There's so many better ways to draw cards and so many better ways to get evasion.
Yeah, but I feel like in Commander, a 6-power creature can still be the smallest dude on the board.
That is true.
That is-
I tried it. It didn't fit.
Oh, the key didn't fit?
So much about being skeleton. I see what you mean.
All right, Erin, I
quick
skipped
there.
you last time. This is our last uncommon.
Ooh, we did it.
There we go.
Hashtag on brand. This is called the Bloodline. Colorless and a black's an enchantment. You can pay 1 colorless and discard a card to put a 1/1 black vampire knight creature token with lifelink onto the battlefield,
Yes.
and you can activate this ability once each turn.
Yes,
I'm
please.
somebody who's loved zombie infestation in older formats, so this is a bit of a watered down version, but still does something very similar. You see a nice take on Olivia Voldaren, one of the more popular characters from Innistrad in this card, and I love effects like this. It's just everything I want to be doing. And every time I look at this, I immediately hear Robin's Call Your Girlfriend, like, call the bloodline. It's just what I hear. But I love this card. I think it's great.
Yeah, this was like a one of the better madness enablers because
yeah.
it's just like sits there. You can always do it. There's no like the conditional is you have to pay a mana and discard a card, which is very little for like madness because a lot of it was like when this happens you may.
And you could do it on your turn and then on their turn and then on your turn. It was
Mm-hmm.
once per turn. And so you could actually just turn any junky cards or anything that if you
Yeah,
started
just fill it in your
flooding,
hand.
you just start turning them into 1/1s and like you said, a few madness stuff out.
Yeah, this thing can get out of hand real quickly.
I was a big fan of this
I
card.
really, really enjoy playing this
Yeah,
card.
it's a good card.
Yeah, I mean obviously they don't give you free madness, but 1 is very low.
It is
like it's
very
about as
low.
low as they're gonna give it to you.
And it age your delirium, it age your madness. It was just a great kind of
That's my
smooth
pick.
over
Yeah.
for this card. I would
Also,
pick that.
Olivia looks great here, and I covet her like nighttime like
Death
ghastly
stilettos?
look. I
Yeah.
love it. No shoes. Olivia hates shoes. She's
What is happening in this?
she's like
So basically, this is the story moment where the vampire clans or families are coming together to sort of fight whatever's going on.
She's
in
giving him
yeah, so, she's
So
sort
they're
of,
like,
she's summoning all of them to her, and they're sort of pledging their loyalty.
Yeah.
she's dancing.
Yeah. Well, apparently, it's my understanding she always floats. Like she doesn't really just
Because
walk.
if she
Yeah.
can, but
Olivia's a dramatic
weird.
lady.
Yeah.
She has 3 legs.
I mean, you don't wear a shoulder thing like that when you're humble. Like you.
I love it.
And just I look at her and I'm like, that's life goals, man. But
That card's great.
ooh, we have a flip
Flip
card
card.
as well, and we got a foil too, and it's
Oh,
rare. So let's do
okay.
our flip card, which is another uncommon.
You mean
Hermit
our double-faced cards?
are double faced.
Some of us are filthy casuals, buddy. We
Right.
don't
No,
use
flip
double
cards.
Our double faced card is Hermit of the Natternol.
Oh, this guy, the old man.
Yeah, he's a human werewolf. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, blah blah blah, he has. If there were no spells, you transform him. That's the
But-
standard.
No, no,
one.
but
No,
this
read
part's
the,
not.
the text. It's really good, actually.
Yeah.
Whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw a card.
Boom, baby.
That is real.
Oh, and then at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform him. So if you cast spells, then you get to draw cards whenever. So if they cast 2 spells to try and flip this back or something like
Well,
that.
but you got to see the other side. So the deal is, you play it
I
and
don't
you say
remember this
go.
card.
When it comes back, sorry, I didn't mean to move it. When it comes back to you, you can just say go, because you want to transform it anyway, and your opponent's like,
Oh,
okay, because they want to cast a spell, but they don't want to start giving you free cards off.
So what does he transform into? He transforms into Lone Wolf of the Natternol. It's a 3/5. So whenever an opponent casts a spell during your turn, draw 2 cards.
Double trouble.
At the beginning of each upkeep, blah blah blah. If a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Lone. Wow, this card is
great. It's great.
ridiculous.
It's really
I
annoying.
like the
to
flavor
play.
text. Like,
You
he
get-
doesn't like company, but he'll have you for lunch.
I see what you did there.
That's
The
cute.
basics on this card are that when you cast Hermit of the Natternols, it's a 2/3 for 3. Your opponent has their main phase to kill it cleanly. And if they do so, then they're out. That's fine. Nothing happened. If they
Fair
are
play
not
to you.
able to do that, then they are forced to pass a turn, even if they can play a creature, and then you have that play available that I said, where you're just like, your move. And now you've paid 3 mana for a 3/5 that has incredible upside if they ever need to interact on
it's
your
so
turn.
good.
So
Oh,
I like
yeah.
the card a lot.
I mean, are you taking this or are you taking Call
No,
of the Bloodline?
Call of the
Yeah,
Bloodline.
you're taking Call of the Bloodline.
Yeah.
But this is very good. Like,
Bring
if
'em
Call
in.
of the Bloodline's gone, take this. But there's not one but 2
Oh.
rares in this pack. This
Goodness
pack is
gracious.
stacked, actually.
Yeah.
The
So-
commons were like, meh, but... so first, our regular rare is a Flameblade Angel,
Oh,
So we are doing it.
all right.
which is... Marshall, you read this one.
Sure, 4 red for a 4/4 flying angel at rare. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, you may have Flameblade Angel deal
Oh
1
my
damage
God.
to that source's controller. It is so stupid. Like, the first time you play this, you're like, what? I don't really understand what this does. I'll just attack with my creatures. And then you're just like, oh God, yes. Every creature that gets blocked, even if it
Pew, pew, pew.
dies or doesn't die, is just like damage. One shortcut for it in most scenarios are that all your creatures do 1 to your opponent, even if they're blocked.
Ugh.
So 1 minimum, of course, if they have an 0/5 or whatever, it's not the case. But in most cases, that's how that works. So even if they're trading, even if they're being blocked and bouncing off, it's just like a bunch of little arrows being flown at your opponent. And on top of it, it's a 4/4 with flying. So
You'll take it.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Yeah, it's... also, she looks like she's having a great time.
she's partying it up.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a stacked pack. I would take that Flameblade Angel.
But we also have a foil
Oh.
rare, which is not as good. It is... It's Engulf the Shore.
Ugh.
Which is not
And
coming
it's
up on our card
way
reader
too
because it's
shiny,
foily.
yeah.
That's okay. Engulf the Shore is 3 and a blue for an instant. It says return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. This seems like it's your kind of card, Shivam.
I hate this card.
I love this
Because
card.
it's like
Ooh.
Cyclonic Rift, and Cyclonic Rift is one of the cards that makes me the angriest about Commander, because this is a card that says everybody else doesn't get to play. But you can build your deck around. I've seen people build decks around this card
yeah.
that are just perfectly keyed to make this work, and it is absurdly powerful. This card is so good in a multiplayer format, it's not even funny.
But
There
it's
was yeah.
miserable to play.
There was
Oh my
even a
God.
mono blue deck in standard for a little while. I think it revolved around Brain in a Jar. Like, it was just a really hokey, like, blue control deck. It was
Yeah.
very budget. I saw it on various websites, and it revolved around this card and just other blue cards you would never dream of using. And it was just hilarious
Because I've
to
seen
watch.
like decks with this that are like, I first use Vidalcan Shackles to take your best guy, then I'm going to bounce your whole board. And it's like, it stabs me right here.
I mean, it's flavorful though. The idea of literally the waves just
Yeah, but as a token player, having all my things get bounced, it means they're getting obliterated. And it just,
Beep, 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 beep.
none of my tears being engulfed by the shore. This card is awesome, but I would still take the Angel.
It's probably not for limited.
Are you sure?
No, it's a stinker unlimited.
Yeah.
It's not very good. Because like, it forces you to play mono blue, and you want to be 2 colors in this.
I'm taking the rare flying angel.
Yeah.
Shocking
Yeah.
twist, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
If
just
there's
so
a dragon
powerful.
or an angel and it's rare, I'm just taking it. I don't even
I mean, the
care
card
what
just,
it is.
it's a beast, man.
Yeah, they all are. That's kind of the deal. Like a demon, an angel, or a dragon, and it's a rare, it's almost guaranteed to be really good.
But this is great for signaling because you're going to take the red rare. The next person is going to take the black. The next one's going to
Or
take
the
the green.
green, yeah. Mhm.
But
Yeah,
like you're going to
yep.
know, like don't take green and black.
Then somebody's like, engulf the shore, sweet.
yeah.
We're just wooburging right down. Somebody takes the Cathar. and
It's
it's
great,
just
let the rare draft that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll
I
know
like it.
exactly what's coming to you on pack 2.
I mean-
well, that was our what was that?
Shadows over
That
Innistrad.
Shadows
Shadows
over
over
Innistrad
Innistrad.
that was given to us by Ethan at PAX East 18.
Nice shot.
Oh, nice
Marshall,
catch.
Wow.
it is now your turn to roll
what
the
about
die.
you?
I think we're gonna do. I
us
have my
three?
own. I have my own die rolling game that we're gonna be playing after we crack packs.
Oh.
It is Marshall's suggestion.
14.
14.
2, 4, 6,
James.
8, 10,
Nice catch.
Nice
12,
catch.
14.
Wow.
Marshall,
But-
Kaladesh.
Oh, wait, now I just feel bad.
Oh, let me do this. Let me
Can
do
I
this, let me
pass
do
it to
this.
him?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
James can
There you go.
Alright.
James, you get to do. Who gave it to?
So, Kaladesh was given to us by Jesse Durant at PAX Australia. Thank you so much.
Australia.
Also,
Yeah.
what language is that?
English?
Not that.
Jesse Durant.
Not that.
Busta da 15 carte. That says in Spanish. No,
Oh.
Italiano. It says
All
even
right,
right there.
good
on
luck.
top.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, Italian Kaladesh. Wow, I get to show off double time.
Do you speak Italian?
I can fake Italian.
Okay.
Should we put these over
Yeah, I
here?
can put that.
Let's
She now
see.
speaks many languages.
Okay, so first is Abile Automa, which is got Fabrique 1, which is a accomplished automaton of 5/7 for 7 with Fabricate 1.
Able automaton.
Yeah, so
Like
like
it.
Fabricate is like one of my favorite mechanics of all time. You either get a servo or you get a +1/+1 counter. And as we all know from my experiences, I love tokens and I love dice, so this is everything I want. But man, 7 casting cost, there's better things you could be doing in Kaladesh.
Yeah.
A little steep.
And then,
I remember this.
yeah,
one.
this is Aether Trade Winds, one of the best cards. 2 and a blue, instant that returns target permanent you control and permanent you don't control to their owner's hand. I mean, every time I've seen this card show up in a format, it's just been good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's solid.
It's solid.
You can do tricky things with it and usually get your.
You can save your card from removal.
Yeah. Dune
Oh.
Agent.
Doomed operative.
Operative.
Yeah,
This
this
guy's
is
good.
is my boy
Dune Operative.
or girl, as it were.
Oh, yeah. A 2/2 for 2, 1 and a black for human rogue that says as long as you control an artifact, Doomed Operative gets +1/+0 and Death Touch. So you're always going to have an artfact. It's Kaladesh, and it's cheap, and this card is great. It just
Yeah,
does the
3/2
business.
death touch for 2 mana.
Also,
Almost
I
all
love the
tokens.
artwork on this card
This-
so much.
Beautiful.
This was a common you're always like, yeah, get in there. Great.
As many as I can get.
Acrobatic Maneuvers is next. The 2 and a white instant. Exile target you control and basically flicker it, return it back to the battlefield, and draw a card. I
Medium.
don't know.
It was
It's
medium.
okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Would you ever play that?
Sure, but not happily.
This is the Metalworkers. What's it?
No, this
Metal
is a
Spinner.
blue one.
The other blue.
Puzzle
one.
knot.
Yeah, the
Glass
puzzle
Glass
knot.
blowers puzzle knot.
Metal Spinner's the black one.
Yes. Glass blowers, puzzle knots. All the puzzle knots are actually really good. Right? Like 2 for an artifact that says when glass blowers puzzle knot comes into play, you scry 2, then get 2 energy, and then you can pay 2 and a blue to sacrifice this to scry 2 and get 2 energy again. This is actually one of my favorites because I use it in my Whirler Virtuoso deck to get a lot of extra energy, to get a lot of Thopters in play. Thopters make me happy, and this card just made all my decks work. I love this thing.
Good enabler for anything.
Well,
energy.
because like there's lots of stuff that's like you need artifacts, you need energy. It's like you get both. It's
And
2
it's
mana.
scry!
The puzzle knots to me, I always just think of Aetherworks Marvel because that was one of the
yeah,
things that pushed it
exactly.
over the top was that every single thing you did led to energy counters. So you wouldn't normally take a look at something like this, but you get so much value out of it. It's just disgusting.
Good old Windrake, the 2/2 flyer.
Volare.
It
Fine.
does what it says on the tin.
Sometimes you want a 2/2 flyer. It was like fine.
It didn't really interact with the format, but is exactly what you said, Kathleen.
This is the Mana Elf, I forget, right?
No, this is the one that Rampant Growth's you.
Oh yeah, the Rampant Growth Elf.
Yeah.
Wild Wanderer, 3/2 for 4. That when it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tab. I felt it was too expensive for what it did.
I ended up liking it a little more than I thought, but you are correct. It is a little pricey. But you get the body, so it's not the worst.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see, Prendiel Control.
That's the
yeah. This is the Breaking
Treason,
artifact.
act of treason.
I like
Active
how this
treason.
is like this is
Hijack.
Shivam's Italian exam, and it's your like coverage memory.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just like, I just look at it. It's like, I was like trying to read it and translate it, and he's
Yeah.
like, hijack, 1 and 2 red, gain control of target artifact or creature until end of turn, untap it, gains haste.
That's your act of treason for the set.
I stole somebody's
Was it
Aetherwork
okay?
Marvel with this.
No,
No.
not okay.
That's
You know, though, when you
delicious.
steal someone's Aetherwork Marvel and then spin the top
Okay,
and
that's
get
just
something,
mean.
that's fun.
So if you steal it, is it the energy counters that they have
no, it's
on
my
it?
energy
Yours.
counters.
So, but you still have to have energy.
I had energy counters, but it's still just like,
Nice.
sure, why not?
Spin the wheel.
It was like
And
I
then
think
Energy Rhino.
I feel like what people used it for was to like get a really big like vehicle.
Yeah. Like, I've definitely seen people steal your looter scooter or whatever and
Yeah.
have a good time.
This card
Thriving,
was good.
Thriving Rhino, and the entire Thriving cycle was just so good.
Yeah, this is probably the best one.
Yeah. 2/3 for a 2 and a green. And when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. And when you attack with it, you could pop the energy to get a +1/+1 counter.
Yeah, and as you know, you end up with a bunch of random energy
Yeah,
laying
like,
around,
that's it.
and all of a sudden it's a 4/5, and your opponent's like, "What? This is your common 3-drop?"
Off of your
Yeah.
puzzle knots, you're just getting a ton of energy. I love this.
Oh, yeah.
That guy was good. This is a card I'd pick right now, I think.
Yeah, the Prakata bug. The
Pillar
That
Bug.
was
Pillar Bug.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You need an artifact. It's a 2/3 for 3. Get lifelink with a black.
It ended up seeing more play than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, because you need
For
filler, right?
what's kind of a medium card.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite ones, the fabrication module.
Oh, there you
I
go.
love the modules.
So we're in the uncommons now.
Yeah, we're into the uncommons now.
Fab mod?
So the thing is, the 3 modules together made like an infinite energy and tokens combo. And in my like Brea deck, you can just go to town and have a million Thopters and tokens and energy. And I love this because as a Johnny player, a fabrication module, which is when you get 1 or more energy counters, you put a +1/+1 on a target creature you control, pay 4 and tap it to get an energy. This is the key that would start the whole cycle that would end up getting you servo tokens, energy counters, +1/+1s. And when you're going off, you feel so good.
Yeah. This is also good because, you know, if you just read it very simply, it's 4 tap, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's just
That's
powerful.
good.
Yeah, and then
That's
the energy
good.
counts.
And then the energy on top of
yeah,
that.
and you also were getting random energy all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love this guy.
Oh, yeah, I remember this card. This is the lifelinker.
Aetherborn Marauder, the 2/2 flyer for 3 and a black, which is flying and lifelink, and when it enters a battlefield, you move any number of +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto this guy.
And this is where you wanted them, by
Yeah,
the way. Evasive with lifelink is
Flying lifelinker,
really tough to
and
beat.
especially if you got Fabricate all over the place, just
Yeah,
get in
and-
here, guys.
And you only needed 1 counter to really take this to like a great level. 3/3 flying lifelink for 4 is like, holy smokes.
That's so good.
Yeah, and then anything above that, you felt like you were getting away with something.
Oh
I
yeah.
just want to give a shout out to the Aetherborn in general. I thought it was a really unique take on black. You know, I knew that one of the goals of Kaladesh was to act as sort of a palette cleanser because we were coming off of, 2 worlds getting destroyed, basically. You know, we had the Zendikar, Innistrad, we were really Eldrazi'd out at that point, and so they were looking for new ways to give us black without it being the usual death, zombies,
Grim.
decay. And so this was such a neat take on it. I loved the characters. Yahenni, shout out to
Yahenni
Allison
is
Lewis
one
for
of
that
the
character.
greatest.
I just can't help but say, such great things about the Aetherborn. Really, really great
They were
take.
just hedonistic and happy, and it was just such a cool set.
Life is short, party hard.
Yeah.
YOLO.
And YOLO is kind of a black like mentality,
Oh,
and I love
absolutely is.
moving them into more like a whatever, woo kind
And
of
I,
way.
That card's
I
good.
love the Moogle architecture in the background, the spiral domes and everything.
This is the
whale
whale
shot.
shot, or
Yes.
whatever it's called. Yeah, that's
It's like Sky Whaler shot, 2 and a white for an instant, destroy target creature with power 3 or greater, scry 1.
That was very good. I
Oh, yeah.
recall.
super, super good.
Yeah, because like
Tons
that's what you
of,
want to be doing, right?
Tons
Like,
of targets, yeah.
and
Boy, this pack got real.
This got very
real.
stacked.
and I am super grateful for this. We
Whoa!
actually got a mythic.
We got
We got
Rush Me.
Rush Me, Eternity's
Oh,
Crafter.
my goodness.
Absolutely one of the most fantastic cards. First off, it
This is the one
thrilled
that
me.
gives, like, cascade to your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
The-
it's a lot of words, but it's a 2/3 for 4 that gives you your other spells cascade.
Whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with
Yeah.
less than that spell's converted mana cost, you can cast it for free. This card is incredible in this set. It was incredible in Commander. It's incredible in like anywhere you can play it. And it just thrilled me to death to see like this artwork. Is this an Indian-looking
Magali.
elf? Oh my god, I loved everything about this. I loved her story. This card is fantastic.
That's a sweet pull.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely sweet. I love this thing. This set, the first time I came on Tap Tap Concede, as many of you guys might know, I came on to talk about stories of Kaladesh and share cultural background and history. And I was a little bit down on the set because, it was not what I wanted. But in terms of play, it is my favorite set of all time.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God, the mechanics are so good. Everything I wanted to do in this set, artifacts, tokens, it was just wonderful. And the cards, once I got over myself, oh God, I love this set so much. I can't wait to go back.
I had a lot of fun with the tinfoil hat folks who were saying that Rashmi is an anagram for Mishra. And
You
there
know,
were people that
Mishra
were like,
and
is
Rashmi
she
are
Mishra?
both
And I
Indian.
was like, normally I wouldn't entertain such things, but I was like, I'll allow it.
The thing about Mishra and Rashmi are both Indian names.
Oh.
You could have a legitimate person named Rashmi Mishra. That would be really silly. I don't recommend you do so. However,
It sounds cool.
There's a billion Indian people. That's totally a possible
All
combination.
right.
Interesting.
I would take this card. By
Yes.
the way.
Oh,
This
100%.
is just too fun.
Also,
Like the correct pick is probably this removal spell.
I think that's
but
what we
whatever.
take because unless you open this card,
Yeah,
Rush
but
Me.
what are you doing with your life if you don't take
yeah,
Rush
it's like,
Me?
you might as well have
It's
a
a
good
sign.
time.
Yeah.
And of course, the last card in the set, in honor of me, a Thopter token.
You mean a Totero?
Oh, it's adorable.
I
don't-
love Thopters.
I don't think we have a Thopter token loaded.
It's okay. You don't need a Thopter. You all know what Thopters look
It's
like.
cute.
They're good.
This
So-
is a fantastic pack.
Yeah, that was a really good
Thank
pack.
you so
Ship it,
much.
James.
All right,
Bring it in here, buddy. All right.
19.
Wow,
Wow,
we're
Wow,
making
we're
you
rolling
guys are good
high.
rolls.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
God, I love Kaladesh.
12, 14, 16,
I saw it and I was
18. Oh,
I can't do it too.
Oh, that is the most. Marshall got the booby.
Heimländer? This is
German
German. I speak
Oh my
German.
God!
I do. I'm not kidding.
You got the most Marshall pack in the set.
All right.
crazy.
I feel like we each got something, Shadows, Kaladesh.
Oh
Yes.
man, we
So
did not
funny.
predict this.
We
We did not
didn't,
plan
no.
this.
no, we literally
Oh,
rolled dice in front
Welcome
of
to
you
episode
guys.
250.
Yeah, this is.
Oh my
is
God,
the-
German Homeland.
All right, German Homelands.
God.
Ooh, does this have an attribution? Who did this
It
come
does
from?
not. No.
Well,
I
thank you,
looked,
whoever
but-
knew that Marshall was going to come on one day.
Yeah.
Speak
Thank
German
you,
and play with
past
the
you.
worst pack.
All right, are we ready?
We're ready.
I don't know what
Apocalypse
rarity
time.
these come
Apocalypse shot.
Yes.
in. Yeah, Glocke der Apokalypse. Wow. All right. I can read this, but will it come up?
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
It's a card that says "Screw you, Homelands."
How perfect.
This is such a classic old design, right? So it says it's a 2-mana artifact, 2-tap. This is unbelievable. Sacrifice Apocalypse Chime to bury, which means destroy without the
remember
chance of
bury.
regeneration. All cards from the Homelands
Direct.
expansion. Fourth wall, we don't care. We're just going to reference literally the cards on the set.
Yeah, just don't print them like this
Now think
anymore.
about how bad that feels. First off, you paid money for Homelands. Second, you put those things in your deck, and now some guy's going to come and wreck it and just say no. I would be bummed.
I feel like this is sideboard tech at best, though.
No, I just want to play it and just wreck the world. It's like, which cards are you playing in our triple Homelands draft? Well, me too.
Didn't they have one for Arabian Nights as well? That like
City in a Bottle.
City in
Yeah.
a Bottle.
Yeah.
One from that, yeah. Blutaged? What is that?
Yes.
leeches. Oh, Mark Rosewater's least favorite card ever.
I don't like this card
Really?
either.
Yeah.
1 white sorcery. Target player loses all poison counters. Leeches deals 1 damage to that player for each poison counter removed this way. What do they call poison counters in German?
What do they?
Giftmarken. Yeah,
You know, it's
that makes
funny.
sense.
We may not like the card as it is, but I remember when we were having issues with energy, going back to energy for a second in Standard, one of the complaints that people had was you had no real way to interact with it. And so people were like, can we just get like a leeches for that or just something so that,
Yeah,
we
right.
can feel, and maybe it wouldn't have been such a ban-worthy mechanic.
Yeah, these are interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but these are really interesting cards because this card is horrendous and narrow and stupid. And why is it white? And it's just like this is just such a strange card. But this is the perfect example of an old school design. This is purely top down. This is
Yeah.
somebody popping into R&D or whatever cafe they were hanging out at or whatever and saying, you know what we really need? Because I lost a game last week, is to be able to take poison counters off. And somebody goes, yeah, okay, so what would it be? And they're like, leeches take poison out of your body, at least in like
Yeah,
the old
bloodletting.
times. Like bloodletting. And they're like, okay, great. They're like, well, what color should it be? They're like, white heel stuff. Okay, we'll make it white, right? And then they're like, let's call it leeches. make it a sorcery. You know, it's like, come on, guys. It's a leech. It's literally a creature. You can't do that. But yeah, and then...
And of course, the leeches are biting you, so you take a
So
point
you
of
take
damage.
the damage, right? It's pure top-down design.
I love it.
It's
I
not
love it.
not pretty, but the cards
There's
are
an
more
elegance
interesting.
to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
just that then you're holding a magic card and you're going, what the F am I supposed to do with this
It's
thing?
super unintuitive.
Yeah, Zwergenkaufmann. All right.
Of course.
Let's see what that translates to. Dwarven Trader, different artwork.
Let's look at the art, though. Margaret Organ Keene, one of the old school magic artists, just
Yeah.
a style we don't see anymore. I think of her whenever I think of Lion's Eye Diamond.
Which is actually on the card I'm holding as well. It's
Yeah.
a different artwork, also by the same artist.
Yeah.
but
It's the
lady
this
in the
one's
horse
even
chain.
better.
you just will never
There.
see
There we go.
magic art
That's
like
the
this
one.
again. Like I just
Yeah.
can't help but take that in.
We miss it, right?
Yeah.
I do.
I do.
Although I will say, what I really like about Ravnica Allegiance is there's a lot of Seb McKinnon artwork in this, and
That
Seb
feels
has
like-
Seb has that more like painterly style like this, and it's a little like less like photorealistic and more just like interpretive. I
Yes.
think.
Seb and Magali are both artists that when I think I've seen everything, they're like, I've got you. And then they come back and you're like, how are you like this? Like, how are you consistently this talented?
I tried this in a dwarf tribal deck. Don't ever play dwarf tribal. Just don't.
That's the most Shivam thing I've ever
Right?
heard. I had a
Look,
dwarf
there was
tribal,
a
tribal
a
deck.
legend in Kaladesh that was the red-white
Depala?
Depala.
Oh,
I have
boy.
a large-size Depala card at home that I won from PAX, and she's like dwarf tribal and vehicle tribal. So I got all the dwarves together.
Please say you had Dwarven Trader.
Of course I did.
Oh my
Look, A,
God.
Magic does not have that many dwarves. B, they all suck.
You
Well,
are,
this is one of the ones that
Oh.
sucks, but...
Yeah, what are you saying? 1/1 for one that does nothing else is a terrible card?
Yeah,
I feel like-
speaking of...
I feel like you're describing a plot of Friday Nights that we considered as somebody's trying to make a dwarf tribal deck.
DePaula had an awesome storyline though. Like
I
I would
love
I would
the
watch
card.
a series of her and Kari Zev just going on piratey adventures.
Yeah.
Like Thelma and
I wrote that
Louise with
fanfic.
sky ships.
Yes.
I wrote that fanfic. Not
This
gonna
card's
lie.
bad.
Yeah.
What
It's,
is it?
it's Homelands. Be more
Bewohner
specific.
Bewohner von Anhava. Yeah, this isn't...
Anhava.
But this is a 1/1 for one as well. This one has upside. Check this out. You ready for the kaboom?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Oh, James just got to take the override off the card
Oh,
reader.
yeah,
So
sure.
because you have to
It'll
get the
come
right
up.
dwarf.
So it's a 1/1 for one, and it says, when blockers are declared, this thing gets +2/+1 until end of turn.
Try putting it back on there.
+2/+0, I mean.
And then you up. Doesn't like that.
Wow, he just said no.
You're gonna have to trust
What's the
my.
name? What's it called? Do
I
you
don't
know?
know. I don't know what it is in
Something
English.
Anhava.
Yeah,
Something
type in
Anhava.
AN-HAVVA because they won't change that. That's just the name.
Yeah.
I thought it was only one.
It's green. It costs 1 green.
it's got a lady with a stick on it, and she looks bored.
It means
feel like
people,
that's all
it means
of
people
Homeland
who
Arbor.
live there, inhabitants of Anhava.
Is it citizen, townsman?
Yeah, it could be that.
Villagers.
Folk of
There
Anhava.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
If it's a
If
sign-
it's signed as the blocker, it gets. And by the way, that is really funny because they actually wrote it the same way in German, where it says folk. Although they didn't use the word folk, which is weird, which is also a German word. All right, this one is
if it's signed
called
as a blocker, 2 okay. well.
Mesa Falcon.
A
which
Mesa
means-
Falcon?
Mesa Falcon. Very
Oh.
I'm feeling more bilingual by the second.
You're killing it. And this one has können fliegen, which means can fly.
But it's wait, it doesn't just automatically fly.
No, it means can fly.
It's a bird.
The translation now is just flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
But back in the day, it was loose, so it just says couldn't fly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it has,
Thank goodness.
what do we call this?
Butt breathing.
Butt breathing.
You know, wasn't it like the armor? And I put this in a bird
I
tribal
knew
deck
you'd
once.
remember.
It did not work.
A stupid thing. I'll remember that.
Mesa Falcon has,
God, it costs a lot to
Butt
just be a
breathing.
Flavor
defender.
text.
but
Shout out
this
to-
is great. Like, the German one can fly. Like, that
Yeah.
is that
Okay.
is
Flavor
nice.
text, shout out to Soraya the Falconer, who is another character
exactly.
from the Homelands world.
There you go.
I definitely made a bird tribal deck.
Our next card is called Sarah's Menagerie,
Oh.
also in German.
Oh.
So, that's a lot of text on there.
Yes, it
And it's got an
is.
upkeep cost. Divisor.
Oh, this is like an early version of Arrest.
Oh, that's actually pretty good.
Right. So it arrests it, but I have to pay white to keep this thing around.
Right. Yes, of course. Because
Double
none of
white.
us
So
would have
that's
been
a
too
2
good
white.
otherwise.
So it's an
Yeah, go
enchant
ahead.
creature for
Yeah.
2 white. During your upkeep, pay 2 white or bury Sarah Bestiary. Target creature cannot attack, block, or use any ability that includes tap in the activation cost. That's actually really powerful. for
It is.
Sarah.
It's just the mana's really brutal. Also, Anson Maddox was one of my early favorite artists, although this isn't his finest work.
Not too much. But I've definitely played this card back when 1995 was around. Oh,
Memory
we did
Lapse.
Oh!
Gedächtnislücke.
it. Now there's a real card.
Oh, wrong artwork though.
It's like the phrenology dome.
There was
Also-
a nice callback to this in
In
Shadows over
Shadows,
Innistrad
exactly.
when they had those auras of like the blue. There was a blue, a black. Each one did sort of something. There was like a Lingering Souls one. There was a Mind Rot one, and then the blue one did this, I believe, or it had the artwork.
Yeah,
for
it had the
at least.
artwork for this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Memory Lapse, 1 in a blue, counter target spell, put that spell on top of the
This
summoner's
card is-
library. Feels bad, man.
So good. This card is still playable today, I
You
think.
gets
Yeah, it
them,
is. It is.
Gets the spell, sets them back.
Right.
And
yeah.
it's a hard counter for 1 in a blue, not even for 2 blue.
Yeah, hard counter.
Well, I guess not a hard counter, but
It
it does
is,
set him back
is
a turn.
under the normal definitions, it is
Yeah.
a hard counter. Although
It's not like
you're
counter
facing it
spell.
next turn. Yeah.
Right.
So that I don't know how to.
Like it's like
Say
a
that.
remand that pushed it back farther. I don't know.
Exact. Yeah. Okay.
Mark Chadine, that art though.
I love it. This card is great.
All right, our last card, another powerhouse, Lauernde Räuber.
Were there less cards than a normal pack?
Yeah,
only
there's
eight.
only 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like Marshall gets to roll again.
You got the
Sure.
movie
This
prize.
is 4 in a red for a 3/1 with Erstschlag.
Ah.
First hit.
Oh.
First strike. Oh, it has haste. It's
That's
that
a lot of way to
they
say
use an
haste.
extremely long sentence to describe haste from the German version.
How? What's the
In English, it would be like can attack the turn it comes to play.
So it says the Lauertrupp, so these guys, the troop of these guys, can during your turn, in the turn that it came into play, attack.
Oh.
Yes.
That's a very long
German!
way to get around to.
German's brutal.
Whilst upon the
Yeah.
arrival of
Now
this
it would say
haste.
Yeah, but you know what? German is specific.
yes.
Very
Yeah. You do know exactly what's going on with it. Yeah.
So
Oh, man.
James, if you're looking for that, it's a 4 and a
Yeah, it's
red,
something
and it's a
robbers
3/1.
or thieves. It's probably thieves.
Homelands.
Räuber means thief or robber.
How did you learn German?
Oh, I went there like a bunch of times and I took a class and I have
Nice.
friends from Germany. Yeah.
That's how I've learned like half the languages I know.
Yeah, it's the only way to really
Oh, yeah,
actually,
dude.
so that you can speak.
Actually,
to
just
people.
go there and get stuck and try to figure out how to.
Ambush
say it.
party.
Oh.
There you go. That is a
Well, and
translation.
that's a weirder version of even saying haste in the old days.
Yeah.
Attack the
Can
turn
attack
on
the
your
turn and
side.
come
on
to play
your
on
side.
your side?
Yeah.
I've never seen a card say your side.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe like if there's like some sort of act of treason effect.
It was written by a soccer player.
Yeah, offsides.
I don't
Cool.
know, Marshall, do you want to roll the dice and
yeah,
get one more pack?
sure.
I
And
feel like this is a perfect tap.
And for the
scene.
record, I'm taking this removal spell.
Yeah, like either
Oh, right,
the
yeah.
arrest or the memory lapse, man.
All right, so we've rolled a goofy pack.
Can I roll the pack? Can I need to roll it?
Yeah.
17.
Wow,
You
we're
guys
all
are
high
rolling
rollers
really
today.
high. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There is another German Homeland pack in there. We didn't get
I
it.
did enjoy that. I'm not going to lie.
That was fun.
14, 16, 17 is Eldritch Moon.
Oh,
Yes.
sweet. I like this
Least
one.
favorite set.
This from Matt
This set
Matt
really pushed me out of
Keurig.
Thank you, Matt. for the
Mail
pass.
time. What is mail
Thank
time?
you.
Mail time is where we open things that people send us. So
Oh, that's just what that means.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
I thought maybe that was something that Matt was.
Yeah, no, this set
we
was
like
just too
simple
gross
names
for
around
me.
here. There's the table friend. We do mail
I
time.
don't know. We're not doing
Yeah.
a lot of tapping or conceding on this video.
No, well, that's when I talk about my magic experiences.
Oh, the things we talk about offline, my friends.
Strange Augmentation is our first card. Black for an enchant creature. Creature gets +1/+1. Delirium, it gets +2/+2. Get out of here. That card's
So
terrible.
this is the set art-wise where the cat was sort of out of the bag. Where before you were kind of seeing clues that something was going on, and then Eldritch Moon was like, "All right, here's
And the
everything."
icon
Like,
is literally either Emrakul or Liliana's headdress. I
Yeah.
love that. But this set grossed me out so
I never
much.
knew that. That's kind of cool. Next is Backwoods Survivalist, 3 and a green for a 4/3. But if you have Delirium, it gets +1/+1 and Trample. The card was a fine common.
Yeah.
This one's better though.
Ooh.
This is Sigardian Priest, 1 and a white.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a 1/2, and you can pay 1 mana and tap it to tap target non-human creature. And there was plenty of humans that you wanted to tap, but way more not
Yeah,
humans.
Sigarda having a more important role in the story as Bruna and Gisela were merged into Brisella, the horrifying
The
Eldrazi
gross-
angels. So Sigarda was definitely one of the good guys, and actually, spoiler alert, survived. So good on her.
Good for her. This one has one of the better names in recent memories called It of the Horrid Swarm.
It of the
And when you
Horrid
cast that, it
Swarm.
feels kind of nice just to announce that on the stack. It is also kind of interesting. It's Emerge was the mechanic, which looked weird at first, but played really well. It was 8 mana for a 4/4. And when you cast It of the Horrid Swarm, you get 2 1/1 green insect tokens. But it has a merge, which means that you can pay 6 and a green, and even though the card's actually colorless, they have colored emerge costs. And you can cast a spell by sacrificing a creature and paying the emerge cost reduced by that creature's converted mana cost. So if you sacrifice a 4 mana creature, it reduces this from 7 down to just 3, and you've got a 4/4 with 2 1/1s.
Yeah, and many creatures having death triggers, it was a neat thing. We had the little fox from Kaladesh. You could sacrifice that and get value, get the life gain off of that. And this really showing, the Eldrazi kind of taking over. Emerge really highlighted Eldrazi Octopus, Eldrazi Insect, and that's really what Emerge was all about.
Like the Emerge cards were also, they're really fun to play, but they just visually grossed me out completely.
Yeah.
But it's just
Like from Aliens?
yeah, just nothing, none of that.
Great flavorful though.
Yes.
Like
Oh, yeah.
so flavorful.
Yeah.
Just don't eat it.
Borrowed Malevolence. I don't remember this. Oh,
No.
this one. Yeah, this one's good actually. So
Yeah.
it's black for an instant, and you can choose one or both. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, or target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or you can escalate in order to pay both by paying an extra 2.
How did you like Escalate?
I loved it.
Me too.
That seemed like giving me more options is good.
Right, especially when neither of these options are broken, but this just becomes like a fine combat trick and goes to a really good combat trick, and that's like what you'd want to pay for one.
And now, there's been a lot of talk about how Standard is full of cards like this. That a lot of cards are just kind of modal by nature. You don't have to do anything special. They just give you the option. Like Knight of Autumn, Deface was one I think I had yesterday. Where it was like Artifact or Defender, pick
Clarion.
one. Yeah, so this is becoming more
Definitely
normal.
Clarion, yeah. I love modal cards.
Woodcutter's Grit, another really good name. This is 2 and a green for an instant target creature you control, gets +3/+3 and gains hexproof until end of turn. The you control is a big tip off there because you're like, why can't I give my? It's like, oh, hexproof, right? Okay, that makes sense. Fine,
was
whatever.
okay.
Boring combat trick,
Yeah.
mediocre. 3 mana for a combat trick better be like a game winner. Enlightened Maniac. This is 3 and a. This is by the way the thing you want to throw into.
Yeah.
You want the Eldrazi to
Emergency.
come spewing out of this thing's stomach. 3 and a blue for an 0/2. And when Enlightened Maniac enters the battlefield, put a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror creature token. So
This was such
you
a
get
good
it,
card.
and then it's 4 mana for your Emerge, and you don't really care about the 0/2, and you're
No.
like, boom, baby.
And you got that 3/2 and then the Emerge thing. It is great.
Yeah, this was such value because
Yes.
4 for a 3/2 is fine, but it also comes with an 0/2 blocker that maybe saves you a couple
Yeah.
points of damage, and then when it's not relevant anymore, almost probably immediately, it gives you such a steep discount on your other Emerge stuff. It's great.
There are a
this
lot
was
of
a really
cards.
good enabler.
It was very good.
Yeah, it feels like there were a lot of Emerge enablers that when you look at them just on the face looked really bad until you realize, oh my god, I'm getting something and then just a big discount off of my giant Death Boar or whatever it was.
Oh, I remember the Decimator of Provinces.
Oh god.
Oh yes.
There's a
Big
card.
pig.
There's an uncommon, by the way. I don't know if it's in the pack, but I'm really hoping it is because it was my favorite card from that set. So we'll see. Stencia Banquet. Who's hungry? Oh, this is a little later. We should name it. 2 and a red sorcery. Stencia Banquet deals damage to target opponent equal to the number of vampires you control. Draw a card. This ended up being unplayable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just didn't affect the board enough, and even though you got the card back, it just felt like you were spinning your wheels too much.
Yeah.
It seemed like a huge waste of time.
Yeah.
Honestly, for 3 mana.
Which is weird because I normally think of a banquet as being well worth my time.
Yeah.
No. Guardian of Pilgrims. This is a fine little 2-drop. 1 and a white for a 2/2, and when it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. We've seen these quite a bit. Also, this was a spirit, which I think mattered on some level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the real plot point around Eldritch Moon is that the dead were immune to Emrakul's warping. So that's how Liliana became the last hope, because she had zombies. So zombies were immune, spirits were immune, and just seeing these sort of unlikely allies kind of come together who wouldn't normally serve in a heroic role had to, because everything else would get warped under Emrakul.
And how good was that Pro Tour where it was the story of Liliana and her zombies against Emrakul? Oh,
Absolutely.
That was kind of cool.
it was the Vorthosiest Pro Tour ever.
Blessed Alliance, or
love
as
this
some
card.
say, Blessed Alliance. 1 and a white for an instant. This is an escalate card, so you can choose up to 3 of these things, and it will cost you 2 extra for the extra one. So you can gain 4 life, or actually, technically target player gains 4 life, which is kind of cool. Untap up to 2 target creatures, and target opponent sacrifices an attacking creature.
I'm familiar with this in Modern, actually. When Death Shadow started coming around, it was a nice way to not only make you sacrifice your Death Shadow, but you could
But
also,
also
make
just make
some
it smaller.
gain 4 life. Green White Tron was a thing. It served as a nice burn sideboard card. Very, very efficient card.
That's interesting to me too, because these things do happen in the order that they're printed on the card. So, if I'm attacking you with like a big Tarmogoyf and a small Death Shadow, like, I think the Death Shadow dies from the 4 life if I target you, and then you have to sack the Goyf.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Delightful.
Judge, where's Surge when you need him?
Yeah.
Anyway, that card's sweet, though. I would definitely take that out of this pack
Oh, I
right
love it.
now until I show you this card.
This is one of
Moida.
my favorite
well.
Murder.
cards from this set because it's very efficient.
It's not work if you enjoy it.
Does what it says on the tin.
One
man.
black, instant destroy target creature. This is as good as removal gets in the modern era. And I don't mean the
Yeah.
modern, like,
Modern.
constructed. I mean,
Yeah.
like, just in the last 7-8 years, this is the best removal spell that you're going to get.
Completely
at non-rare.
unconditional.
Yep.
No questions asked.
At
just
instant
off the
speed.
dude. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's also just a I mean, this is top-down design that's elegant, right? We talked about top-down design earlier, where it's like, I want to make a card called Leeches, right? Murder is just
Yeah.
kill something. It's like, well, should we be able to kill any colors? It's like, no, it's murder.
Just
You walk
murdering.
up to the thing and you murder it.
And it's unexpected. It's at instant speed.
That's
Nobody
right.
expects to be murdered.
That's right.
Generally speaking, no.
Oh, we didn't get my card. That's okay, though. We did get a pretty good one
Oh.
here. Foul Emissary, 2 and a green for a 1/1, and this one was born to die, baby. This one has a tattoo on it. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. And then when you sacrifice Foul Emissary while casting a spell with the merge, it's a little on the nose, to be honest, but you get a 3/2 colorless Eldrazi horror.
I mean,
creature
sometimes you
token.
just gotta lead the horse to water, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, and the play pattern here is pretty straightforward, right? You play the Emissary to dig for your emerge card, then you emerge at the next turn, and that actually happened a lot.
Yeah.
What I liked about Emerge is that they put a lot, like, Emerge was expensive, but you could do it. You didn't have to do a card. You didn't have to pay the Emerge cost to make a card with Emerge playable. You could, if you had to. But at the same time, they really put a lot of work. I felt like all the good Emerge enablers were quite pushed. Like the blue one was a common. Like this isn't uncommon, so it's going to be really good. But like even the common one was like, this is good. This is like encouraging us to do it,
Yeah.
right?
So I really loved this card, Foul Emissary, in the format, but I probably would take Murder at this point,
Oh, yeah.
just
Well,
because
yeah,
I'm stupid.
Murder, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
And here is our rare. We
Ooh.
also have a double face card too, but this is Thalia's Lancers.
yes.
This card's pretty good. It's 3 white for a 4/4 first strike. It's a human knight. And when it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a legendary card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this card is playable on its own. It's not great. It's not rare level power. It's more like a uncommon or maybe a powerful common. But if you had any freaking thing to search up with it, it gets so much better because often the legendary cards are the best cards in your deck.
Yeah.
And in my format of choice, this card is amazing. In a commander deck where you're going to have 1,000,001 legends in your deck already, just being able to tutor for any legend you want is just insane.
That's
and you get a 4/4 body on top of that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Oh no, I love this card. This
And
card
it
is,
doesn't have to be a creature. Legendary card. You know, there's
Yeah,
legendary
like-
artifacts. There's
and there's a whole ton of legendary artifacts. And as it happens, planeswalkers are now legendary. This card is baller. in
Wow.
Commander.
yeah.
Did
And
not
I
think about
find
that.
I found that in draft this card would not immediately be snapped up if you didn't have something
is
to
true.
go for it.
You're
so
right.
so
You're
if
right.
you
It always
you
fell to
could
the
pick
commander
this up
player.
sometimes like 4th or 5th pick, and if you're already in white and you have a legend, you're like, oh, this is the best card I've ever got on my 5th pick. But if you don't, then it's just trash.
Yeah, and it's fine, right? I mean,
Not
it's,
every
just,
card
it's
is made for
playable, but
limited.
like I would take the Murder over it, the Emissary over it, and probably the Blessed Alliance too. But maybe first pick it's worth going for just because you take a legend and you just windmill it.
Oh yeah,
Well-
dude.
We have one more card.
I don't
Sorry.
know about the strategy of hoping to open a legend.
That doesn't work.
It's gotten
for
me
you.
through a couple drafts.
I've tried.
You have to get luckier then. Conduit of Storms, or Conduit of Storms here in Canada. This is 2 and a red for a werewolf horror, and it is a 2/3. Whenever it attacks, you add red mana to your mana pool. It's cool, it says mana pool, they don't say that anymore. At the beginning of your next
RIP.
main phase's turn. And then the interesting part about these werewolves are that they're not the day-night ones. They're the gimme mana and I'll transform. So this one is 3 red to transform into Conduit of Emrakul. And that is a 5/4, and whenever it attacks, you get 2 colorless mana in your mana pool at the beginning of the next main phase this turn.
It's a good card.
Yeah, it's a good card. I mean, look.
Not an amazing card.
Yeah, this reminds me of like the new mechanic Adapt. This is super Adapt, right? This is going from a 2/3 to a 5/4 for 5 mana, and that is huge. I mean, that's not 1+1/+1 counter. That's a whole nother creature, and you can get the whole threat of activation thing going where it never gets.
I love the flavor of it, the idea of there being a different way, the different way that the werewolves work. Like you mentioned, we were used to sort of the day and night style, where if nobody does X thing, it just sort of flips, and then you have this, which is a really, really neat take on it. It's almost
There's no going back.
There's no going back, and then you have it being the Eldrazi version.
Yeah, I love that these werewolves and these things that get transformed into Eldrazi horrors never untransform.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're like that way forever.
By the way, people in R&D are messed up, man.
Yeah, these cards
They're
are
like,
gross.
what if we took a werewolf already pretty creepy?
And gave
like
it.
I've seen Teen Wolf, and they're like, what if we made it into an Eldrazi?
We gave it so many arms.
I remember when I first heard
And
that
eyes.
was going to happen, I was just like, this is wrong.
That's it.
I like this set.
I do too.
But you're, I
No,
mean, you wear black
thank you.
clothes, like you're into this.
No, none of
Aaron
this.
and I are just over
I
here.
got
You guys are,
Like,
you guys are just
fine.
loving
I don't
it
want
over
We're
there.
edgelords,
I don't
it's
need no
fine.
eyeballs
Yeah.
in my palm of my hand.
We're all
nonsense.
creeped out
Yeah,
over here.
nothing doing.
Aaron, let's go listen to some heavy metal.
I'm
Like,
fine with that.
So
Although,
I'm taking
Thalia's
murder
Lantern, man,
for the
I love
record,
that
though. Like
card.
for the, if you're going to bring me on to do Crack-a-Packs, I'm going to tell you what I'm picking in a draft, and it's that.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So before we started, Marshall also made another suggestion to me.
One of my great ideas.
Yeah,
he did.
and it was for crack a snack. And I thought, okay, well, I can do that.
She ran off. She goes, hold on.
Because they do have plenty of snacks here.
Well,
you
our
have no
snack
idea.
supply is actually a little bit picked over because it's January, so it's like, it's cleaning season. We wanted to get rid of some snacks and stuff like that and make sure they got eaten. And also, we just had the pre-release, which means we eat lots of nibblies and food.
We've been quite well fed this weekend. Let the record
Yeah,
state
I
that
mean-
we have not gone hungry.
We're all hermiting that Natternolls, is
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
But I have in here some snacks I grabbed from our snack table.
Oh, we get to crack a
Oh
snack.
boy.
Well,
Oh,
some of them
goodness.
are, I don't want to be wasteful, so a couple of them are already open. But they're not
We'll just choose what we want based on that.
Okay.
So I have 4 labeled mystery items in this bag.
Okay.
And I have a 4-sided dice. Who wants to roll for crack a snack? Aaron,
Alright.
go for
All
it.
right, let's do a
Number
one.
one.
Oh, number 1's so edible. I'm so disappointed.
Wait a minute. You put in edibles?
No,
you're right.
they're
Pencil
all
Dang it,
edible.
there's the jacks.
Number 1 is crunchy chickpeas with sea salt.
Okay, that you can keep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gavin, Gavin ate half of those, but that seems good.
Yeah,
That's just like default base level.
let's get into this.
That's like drafting a 2-2
Now we're
for
gonna
2.
say which one we'd pick, right?
Yeah,
All right,
exactly.
Give me a couple of.
I'm gonna pass
Ooh,
on
these are
those.
I love me some chickpeas. These. See, this is just what I would normally eat for a snack, anyways.
I would pick these. Ooh, salty. I know you like these.
Oh, I love them.
Hey, look. But wait, there's more. I don't know if I want to roll the dice again. I didn't
This
really
is not how
think
cracking a
You can tell that we're in Canada because it's
You
savory
don't roll
with
the
a
dice
U.
for the ones you just open them.
this.
Just
Alright.
like opening a booster pack.
Well, you guys still even spell fiber weird.
Yeah, with
F-I-B-R-E.
Yeah.
We're all about the R and the E here.
Fascinating.
Number
What
2
are
is some
these?
J-own roasted seaweed seasoned with sesame oil.
What on earth?
I wanted to grab exciting snacks.
Yeah, that's a good
And
one.
you grabbed seaweed?
Roasted
Well, I
seaweed's
wanted to
good.
grab things that perhaps were unexpected. That's
Okay.
the most normal
What are you
snack
talking
I
about?
grab.
Roasted seaweed is like on everybody's desk in California. This is like the most default snack you can have.
I love it.
And it's in everybody's trash in Wisconsin.
Seaweed is
Aaron, I
great.
don't think you're gonna like any of these snacks because number 3 is Japanese durian candy.
No.
Durian's I've heard of durian. Isn't it a fruit?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
the stinkiest.
Graham's.
It's a fruit.
No.
Durians,
No.
let's just
No,
say
we're
that
gonna
when
leave
you
that
bring a
one
durian
sealed.
onto a train in Singapore, they will throw you in jail.
Really?
Durians have such a foul smell that they can clear an entire house. They're literally
So opening one in
first
this
off-
enclosed space
First
is
off,
not
the
a good
durian's
idea.
about the size of a small dog, covered in spikes like a big jackfruit.
It's like it's telling you to stay away, and we don't listen.
When you cut it open, what you're eating is the fleshy seed pods that are kind of like this weird rotten custard-looking yellow slop that's covering around the seeds. You take a scoop of it, eat it. Now, when you smell it, it smells like you have died. However, when you eat it, it tastes like a really ripe kind of camembert or like a really cheese-ish kind of. It's not like salty like cheese, but it's got that kind of creamy mouthfeel of a ripish cheese.
And it's a little
And
Mouthfeel.
if you're into that, that's cool. But getting past all those hurdles to get to that slop
Aaron's
blob,
not into that.
not too much.
And neither am I.
I've eaten durian, and I'm like,
It's an acquired taste.
It kind of looks like a Werther's gone horribly awry.
Graham.
It is an acquired taste.
Graham's
God.
grandfather described eating durian as having custard in a latrine.
Oh,
You know what? I had a cheese once that smelled like it came from the bottom of a latrine in a hay barn that had been soaked in
What's
water.
our next snack?
What's the
I'm
next
all-
All right,
That's
well,
kinda
that's
like
our last
durian.
snack. 'Cause it's only four.
Cherries
Japanese
and
tomato and cherry chewy candy. Who
No.
wants one?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I'm
let's do
in,
it.
I'm
Let's
in.
do it.
I'll take the durian one first.
This is tomato.
Did
and
a Simic
No,
make
they're not
those?
cherry tomatoes, right?
No,
There's
there's
no
a tomato
tomato
and a
and
cherry
like
on the
gummy.
cover.
Oh,
No.
Have you ever dipped a cherry in ketchup?
Oh,
Oh God. That sounds,
These are good.
yikes.
that sounds,
These are legit good. They're not salty.
I don't know if you can
No.
see their faces, audio listeners,
I
but
like
they
it.
did not look.
it's not bad. It's not as sweet as a gummy candy normally is. If you've ever wanted
Is there
a
any
gummy,
there left?
There's
one
one
left.
Then let me have that.
If you've ever wanted a gummy candy and thought maybe less sugar, maybe a little bit more savory, the cherry tomato
doing this for
Japanese
you,
gummy
listeners.
candy is for you.
I want more now.
Well, they're all gone.
I know. And I'll never see that again.
That
I'm
actually,
saying
It's good.
first pick is definitely crunchy.
it's actually not
chickpeas, though.
terrible.
No, no.
It's actually kind of sweet. It's a cherry candy that's got a little bit of a tomato savoriness to the top. It actually, I actually like it. It's actually pretty good.
All right,
got
well there
there?
you go. On so we've
Wow,
cracked
that
many
was
packs,
unexpected.
and we've cracked some snacks, and we've all agreed that tomato and cherry is the pick if you are ever handed an unlabeled black bag by me. So
Don't eat the durian, people. Learn.
Oh, wow.
Learn my lesson.
thank you so much for joining us for this special 250th episode of
Wow.
Tap Tap Concede.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having us.
And for feeding us. Like, we've been fed very well this weekend.
Except for this.
Except for this.
Hey, dude.
It had to end sometime.
Chickpeas are fine. I love chickpeas.
So, as always, this podcast is brought to you by CardKingdom.com. Card Kingdom. They are a kingdom of cards.
They really are.
Wow, after 250 episodes, you really got this pitched down.
I am all about the tautologies. And if you want to order from that veritable barony of playable cardboard, you can the Duchy
The
of,
Duchy of Dex.
the Duchy of Decks, yes. I feel like there's more puns I can make, but I'm just going to say if you want to order cards from them, please do so. They ship.
Province of Pax.
Yes, they ship suspiciously and unnervingly fast, and you can say Loading Ready Run sent me button, please, and they will send you one of our fabulous Loading Ready Run buttons. Thank you so much for Card Kingdom for their support. And speaking of thank you so much to you, our wonderful people who support us on Patreon.com.
Actually, that's me.
We support you on Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love each other.
Oh, we do.
Content creators.
So thank you so much, everybody. I'm Kathleen.
I'm Erin.
I'm Marshall.
And I'm Shivam. And once again, I would like to thank each and every one of you for listening for 250 episodes of the single best casual fun time Magic podcast. Congratulations to Kathleen and to everybody here at Loading Ready Run. Goodbye.